Hi and welcome to another episode of Doorways, where we explore different things that might resonate with you and might get you to ask different questions about yourself. Most people don't realise this, but the one thing that makes you successful isn't the thing that's actually exhausting you, and it's not your workload, it's actually your identity. And you don't just work really hard, you're the strong one, you're the capable one, you're the reliable one, you're the friend that everybody goes to when they've got something that's wrong, and you just carry it. And if you're honest, really little honest, then there's part of you that actually feels really good about it. It gives you a place, it makes you credible, is that the right word? But it also traps you, because if you're not the strong one, then who are you? And that's truthfully your ego speaking. So I know that because I used to be exactly the same. I did. For years, I was the one that could handle everything, whether that was in business or with my friends. If something went wrong, I stepped in. If I'd got the friend that had a broken relationship, I'd be the one on the end of the phone. I'll come round, I'll come for a coffee with you. I was that person. And even when I led a business, I was the one that could pick up any gaps in those roles. And if something went wrong, I stepped in. If people were struggling, I did it. But underneath it, what I now know is it was survival. And somewhere along the line, I'd learned that if I'm the strong one, then I'm safe. Yeah, I know it sounds really bizarre, doesn't it? And when my role changed, and when that structure wasn't there, it was quite a confronting place to be, because, and this was when I was on garden leave, because who do you become? If you're not that person that is diving in to help everybody, where are you? And it's really interesting, because I had a conversation with a client recently, and they'd got umpteen emails, huge amount of emails, and it's like, would you need to really be involved in all of those? And it was really interesting, because the amount of emails that they had was proportionate to their worth within the business. So if you get more emails, then you're more worth, and so forth. But actually, that's not who you truly are. And one of the things that I want to really explore there is that this isn't about your capability. It's actually about attachment. When your worth is linked to what you do, you will overdo. You'll work harder, you'll do more. When your value is linked to being needed, you will overgive. And when you stop, then you feel guilt. And not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're stepping outside of your identity that's made you feel safe. And a lot of that starts early. If you grew up around instability, if you became the already steady one, if things felt chaotic, you become organised. Well, you either go two ways, really. You either become organised and you become really capable, or you don't and you become reliant on external things, which I can't talk about because I haven't done. But if your own emotions weren't held and you became the one who holds everything, and that's something that can work for a lot of people until it doesn't, because the very thing that kept you safe starts to limit you. So for me, the shift wasn't dramatic. It was small but very intentional. And I started noticing my patterns, the fixer, the controller. And I did this when I was on my garden leave, because I did quite a bit of shadow work then. And shadow work is very much around shining a light on the aspects of yourself that you shove in a box, in truth, or you don't like about yourself, or you aren't ready to admit. That's probably an easiest way of talking about it. And I realised that I could be the controller. There was a part of me that steps in too quickly, or used to step in too quickly. And instead of just reacting, I've learnt now to pause. And I ask myself, and I say, which part of me is running the show right now? And that alone creates space for me. And when I create space, then I stop overgiving, and my energy is much better. So I'd say things like, so a pause would be, so let's say you're in a situation and you're talking to somebody and they're giving you problems. Might be in their relationship, it might be at work, and instead of ploughing in with the answers now, I sort of say, let me have a think about it, I'll go away. And then I simply ask, is this mine to carry? Is this mine to do anything with? And that's a really big shift, a huge shift. And interestingly, I did I did some one-to-ones with some clients the other day, and there was quite a few one day. And I was a little bit nervous about how my energy would hold up for the day. And I'd prepared myself, I'd done my research, I knew what I was doing, what I was talking about. And I was so proud of myself because I held the space, but I didn't try and fix. Yes, I give some tools, and yes, I give some direction and some clarity, but that's all my job was. My job was to hold the space so that they felt safe, so that they could speak, but it wasn't my job to fix them. And that's a big shift for me, a really big shift actually. And when you learn to do that, so the trick is really, I suppose, that you notice you're doing it, you pause and you give yourself some space. But what happens is that you start to have more self-trust in yourself, so they're not things for you to immediately resolve. And when you step back from that, you can build something much better for you. You can build your own self-trust. And what I've noticed now is that I'm incredibly capable, I am, and I still genuinely care and I still show up, but I'm not defined by it anymore. And I don't feel responsible for everything. I don't overstep, I don't over-explain, and that feels incredibly different for me. It feels much lighter, it feels like freedom. So if you're listening to this and something's landing, just start there. What identity are you holding on to the tightest? Are you that strong one? Are you the responsible one? Are you the one that keeps everything together? If you just keep working harder. And maybe if you just try it for 1 week to say, is this mine to carry? And pause and just let it sit. And yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. It will be uncomfortable. It's taken me a long time to get here, and it was my birthday on Friday, and I was 59, and I'm saying this as if I know all of the answers. I genuinely don't. But I go to work with a spring in my step. I go to work with joy. I can work really hard. On a Monday I've got a client I work with now, and I leave the house at 7:30. I get home about 6:30, and then I do all of my reports and things for them. And you know what? That might be sometimes 14, 15 hour day, but the difference is I love it. I just love it. I love it because I'm interacting with people. I'm not expending energy left, right and centre. I bring clarity to situations, and this is where I thrive, and this is where I bring joy. And it's been such a change for me because I'm still using all the skill sets that I used to have from before. I'm just using them differently. And I write about this in my book, When Success Isn't Enough, because I've always been successful, but something was always missing. I was always tired. I was always irritable. Never enough hours in the day, never was where I was meant to be, never doing the things I was meant to do. But now I can still have those long days, but I love them, and I get to the end of the day, and yeah, I sleep well, I do. But that's not my energy being leaked and given away freely to everybody. That's because I've chosen a different way. And I would sincerely encourage you to do the same. So quick tip is notice, Notice first, then pause, then ask that question, is it mine to carry? And you never know, you might feel a bit lighter.